OpenAI unveiling another massive new partnership, this time with AMD, sending shares of the chipmaker soaring today. It comes ahead of OpenAI's annual Developers Day, which is set to kick off in a few hours. Our Mackenzie Sagalos has been working this all morning long and joins us for today's Tech Check. Hey, Mac.
Hey, Carl. So OpenAI's deal with AMD is pushing its infrastructure ambitions past the $1 trillion mark. The company has agreed to buy multiple generations of AMD chips over the next several years, adding new compute capacity that would require the equivalent of 6 nuclear reactors to power. Also significant here is how the deal is structured. AMD is effectively financing the sale of its own chips through equity. If it meets deployment milestones, OpenAI can buy up to 160 million shares at just 1 cent apiece. It's a way to align incentives. AMD delivers the compute, and OpenAI benefits from the market value that it helps create. AMD CEO Lisa Su telling CNBC the idea behind the warrant structure is to make this a true long-term partnership.
As OpenAI deploys compute, that's a huge benefit to AMD in terms of the amount of revenue that we get from that. Every gigawatt of compute is significant double-digit billions of revenue to us. And as part of that, we have to work really closely together to make sure those deployments are super successful.
Now, all of this comes as 1,500 developers descend on San Francisco for OpenAI's Dev Day, the company's biggest push yet to become the next app store by turning raw model power into products that people will actually pay for. Now, OpenAI may be on track to bring in $13 billion this year, but to sustain this aggressive build-out, it needs more recurring revenue and real applications. OpenAI President Greg Brockman telling CNBC that they're unable to launch new ChatGPT features and even new products that would generate lots of revenue because of a lack of computing power. Guys?
Yeah, fascinating interview with Brockman and Lisa. I thought when Greg said there are some verticals where it's just too far afield for us to really get our hands dirty, sort of pushing back on the notion that they need to be everything to everybody.
Yes, but they do certainly have aggressive ambitions to extend beyond what they're currently doing. So they've got ChatGPT, they newly have Sora, but Sam Altman has long been talking about launching an AI browser that would compete with Chrome, compete with the Perplexity. They're also getting into the business of being an infrastructure provider themselves. 2 weeks ago, I was in Texas, Sarah Fryer, their CFO, telling me then that they want to be a first-party provider so that they can understand the margins, have more leverage when they go to negotiate with other infrastructure providers like Oracle.
I mean, the equity piece is also, the warrant piece is also pretty interesting and innovative and sort of reminds me of what the U.S. government is doing when it comes to companies, of taking a stake in it and not just doing a sort of straight deal.
It absolutely mirrors that. And we saw it with NVIDIA, except there, NVIDIA was investing $100 billion over these periodic tranches of investments at different valuations of OpenAI, but giving that cash to OpenAI that they would then give back to NVIDIA to buy the chips. Here with AMD, they're essentially giving them equity for free. They're charging them 1 cent per share. I'm looking at the share price. It's north of $210. So again, OpenAI is essentially being given this equity stake that they can cash out to then pay AMD for their chips. And that comes back to this larger concern around a potential circular economy here. And that's, we also have names like Broadcom and Oracle that are a part of that. These historic run-ups in their stock prices off the back of a single deal announcement with OpenAI.
Yep, fascinating. And of course, speaking, Mackenzie, thanks.